Okay, I'm Guille Amaral. I work for Quorum. Yeah, and I put here more or less how you should pronunciate our name, Guille. All right. Today I'm going to talk about the progress we made in this project we call website. And here you can see a link, some sort of landing page where you can find links to the GitHub repos, to the online version of this application, and for documentation, which is in Gitbook, I guess. So, but before getting into the topic of this talk, which is the progress in the line of extensibility of this application, for those of you who haven't heard what website is, I'm going to give a brief introduction. So essentially, it is an API, and it's a REST, quote unquote, API, and together with an IDE developed in React. And provided that a given Smalltalk implements this API, it is possible to work with this IDE to interact with such a Smalltalk system. But at some point in time, we realized that the important part here is the API, because as long as it is clear and well documented, it will enable other applications, and you can essentially disregard the IDE, right? So for instance, system-to-system communication is possible. Think of two different dialects talking to each other, or even now with this AI boom, putting an AI agent to talk to a Smalltalk system using this API. So it's the goal is aimed at providing some sort of protocol, to a standard protocol too. So in our experience, this has proven useful in two scenarios. First is remote debugging. This is very useful. We are aware that there are other solutions out there like Telefaro based on Seamless, I guess. But yeah, this is yet another option when you don't have that in your Smalltalk. The other use case is the creation of new runtimes. You know, there are crazy people out there building new VMs or runtimes. This is the case of X Smalltalk. Here's the link of the project created by Javier Pimas. So the point here is that until you get to the point where you can start building your IDE, and building an IDE is something that takes a lot of time, it is possible to connect by implementing this API, the IDE to this new runtime. So in fact, this is what we've been doing with Javier and the rest of the team. I'm going to show an example. But again, you can find more information about X Smalltalk, which is a new modular Smalltalk, and it can target different platforms in the form of these LMR, live metacircular runtimes, some sort of VM-less runtimes. But also it's possible to transpile it to JavaScript, I mean, in the form of an interpreter, not a JIT, and have it running on top of the JavaScript VM. So the API, I'm not going into detail. This I gave a talk a couple years ago about this. The API is organized into different areas where each area contains a bunch of endpoints. So for instance, there are endpoints for retrieving code. In this case, the changes, there is one single endpoint /changes, and it is based on the assumption that the target Smalltalk system will have some sort of refactoring framework with a bunch of changes. And by the way, back in Novi Sad, when I presented this, I guess Norbert asked me whether the set of changes was fixed. It was fixed, but now it is possible to extend it. So I'm going to get into that in a while. So there are more areas or endpoints for issuing evaluations, following the progress of evaluations, retrieving resulting objects. Think of evaluations as processes in the target system, right? So a process can be suspended either because the user wants it or because the process hits an exception. In any case, it is possible to create a debugger to interact with the process. There are some endpoints to manage workspaces or playgrounds, which have their own scope and bindings. There are endpoints to create test suites, run them, retrieve their results, the same for profilers. So let me give you a short demo. Well, this is the landing page draft. Here you will find access to the things that we are currently publishing. But here in my machine, I have opened 4 Smalltalk, 4 backends: Faro, Dolphin, B Smalltalk, the one we used for real or for in our company, and this is Egg Smalltalk. So again, the set of tools that this IDE offers are more or less the same you can find in an average Smalltalk environment. So for instance, we can take a look at the packages currently loaded in this runtime. Not going into detail, some error there. Doesn't matter. So let me go out from here and get into, for instance, Dolphin. So again, the same tools. Let's say we want to, I don't know, go to a package. I don't know, look for typical searches like senders, implementers, whatever. And in every case, the code is, I'm not getting in any global there. Oh. So here, full of tooltips and auto-completion and many features that most of them rely on the services provided by the backend. So for instance, auto-completion relies on the services in the backend. So let me go to Faro to finish this quick tour and do something different. Like for instance, I don't know, debug object all subclasses. Yeah, there's a shortcut to debug, so I can get into this. More or less the same, right? Here are the bindings. There are some, again, tooltips for variables in the in this frame, the bindings in this frame. And what else I can, I don't know. Yeah.
Quick question. When you see the compilation, the tooltips, is there a request each time?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, B Smalltalk is more or less the same. I don't know if it deserves a special, but let me, for instance, this quick search in the case of Faro is like connected or wired down to Spotter because it is already there. So in the case of B, there is different, but anyway, let me search for day test. I don't know. All right. So it is possible. Oh, I have this. I think it's going to fail. I changed it before. So it is possible to run it. It's possible to, put something different there. Sorry? Mutant, yeah. Well, anyway, so let me go back to the presentation, and the area that I wanted to introduce today is the extensions. So the first thing that we extended was the set of changes. And again, this will rely on the back end, right? So let's go, for instance, to File again. And there are a lot of refactorings exposed in the Faro UI and browsers. So I made the exercise of implementing, almost all of them by means of these kind of extensions. So, for instance, you'll see here a menu, like, let me go, for instance, to a class. And then all of these are not available in, for instance, be Smalltalk or Dolphin, right? So the way it works, let me go to website package where the implementation of the endpoints is. So here is the like the main object implementing all the handlers of the endpoints. So in the extensions, I have now three types. We have three types of extensions. So let's focus on change extensions. So change extensions, this is, again, the way we implemented it for sure can be improved. But the point is that this method scans these hierarchies, like refactoring change, refactoring, etc., in search of this website extension method. So if we, for instance, go to, let me search for one of them, so RB refactoring. So here is, well, a bunch of refactorings, and some of them are not implemented yet. So for instance, if we take a, for instance, I don't know, this one, generate equal hash transformation. If I look here, it essentially compiles two methods, hash and equal, and it's based on variables, like the slots. So what I can do now is to go to the class side and implement this method, website extension, in order to get this change exposed through the API and be accessible from the IDE. So I will take any one of these, I will copy and paste it here. This is just a JSON object, right? And it's well documented. If you go to the documentation, here is the, for instance, the specification of change extension. So all the fields, all the properties. But let me go back here. So what we want to have is an extension that is of type change, and it applies on classes. This property here refers to the context. So in the IDE, from the IDE, this will be the selected class. So whenever the user is seated on a class, the change extensions of this type will be available for the user. So let's put a label. I guess this label is over there, but I will put generate equal and hash at is 24. And then here, these properties are the actual properties that the client will send to the server in order to process the change. So the API will essentially search for a class implemented this change by means of this type here. So there is already in place a type implemented above in the hierarchy, so I will leave it like that. And here is another thing, which is access to properties of the element, the selected element. This by no means, these curly expressions is no free JavaScript of Smalltalk Go. It's just an access, a handy way to access properties. Package, I won't need a package. Package, look here, the change, the change allows parameters. These parameters are prompted to the user before requesting a change. So I will remove them because in this case, we don't need them. So I will compile this, and then I guess this option requires the variables, right? So whenever, again, the change comes or arrives to the server tries to find a class corresponding to this change. In this case, will be this class, and it will fill it by means of a service which is from website JSON. So this is the implementation in the support class, but I will try to fill these variables by, I guess there is this the class to retrieve the I guess in this case would be an RB class or something like that, but let's try instance variable names, right? So I will compile this. I think we are ready to go. So let's create a new package somewhere, like here. So A, B, C, whatever. Then a new class in this package. This is Faro12. As you can see here, you have the new definition mechanism. So I will add an instance variable A, and I will compile it. And then I should see here the new option related to the change we just added. And if I click it, you should add what the change adds, right? A few things, right? Okay, this is the way to extend the predefined set of changes coming or specified by the API. And this is only available for, again, for this particular backend, Faro, right? So now this is another flavor of the extensions, exports. It's to have, I think I already add a few, like for instance here, file out. So somewhere it should be defined extension of type export. So and that would be in the here export extensions. And again, this is just a plain JSON. For instance, in the case of the method, we have an extension whose type is export. It applies on methods. It's I can change here 24, and it points to, in this case, it requires a URI to retrieve the contents, the exportable version of this element. And here is the, like, again, using these curly expressions, like the name of the file, the default file, right? So I will recompile this, and let me go. I'm sorry, I didn't want to close that because I had my new stuff. So this method, now if I go here, I have the option with the new label, and if I click it, it will essentially provide me this default name, and if I save it there, I will have the file out version of this method, right? So a couple things need to be defined. First is the extension definition, and then the actual implementation of that. Let's go. Well, this is another type of extension. Let me go to B because I don't have enough time to implement a new one. But I saw in Dolphin a really interesting option to get the methods without senders and the message sends without implementers, I guess at the level of a package. So I decided to bring it to be Smalltalk, and So again, this is the implementation of the API in B, and as you can see here, we should have a couple extensions of type search that apply on packages, and that, well, they have these URIs. They point to those URIs. So it is possible if I go to the package, in this case, website package, to have these two options here. So if I click, for instance, this, well, there is no message sent without implementers. And if I click here, well, I find a lot of these methods probably should be removed, including tests. So I will remove the test. But as you can see here, this lint here tells me that this method has no senders. So these are like, this is the way to define custom searches in terms of methods for the moment. And finally, object views. This is the way to, I don't know, let me go back to Faro or whatever. Let me search for this website extension method that we just defined. I think it was this one. But anyway, let me cut this a bit to have a simple JSON object. This is now JSON object. If I inspect it, I have like, okay, this is the raw view. It contains a dictionary or the keys, whatever. But let's go and add a new view to this JSON object. And again, there is a hook that is called website views. We'll, of course, steal from another one, the template. And, well, it offers many different things that in this case, the front end, the IDE will know how to handle, right? So for instance, let's put here a single one, JSON, and then put that the type is JSON, and then JSON at ESUG 24, and then I guess that it will do with the is a string, right? And then remove the other view that I don't need it. And then finally, well, that one. I include the views defined in the super, the object level. So if I go back to the inspector and now retrieve again the object, I get this new view with this nice way to show a JSON object, right? So finally, themes. Okay, this IDE supports different modes, as you saw before. Like, but the point is that they can be customized. This mode, like light and dark, essentially a bunch of colors and styles. So in the case of File, there is already the notion of themes, essentially a bunch of colors and styles. So what I did was to, for the sake of demoing this, I guess again at the website API level, and general should be this is in the general, and here I put just a subset of the colors defined in the Tango. So for instance, let me turn this that way. Let me put here this, and let me go to settings, and here appearance, and let me open here a new, I don't know, class browser in order to see some change, right? Sorry. Let me find a method with arguments, because this Tango, okay, this tango stuff changes. But it turns out that there's no method with arguments.
What are the odds?
Okay, so here, I guess, if I'm one, okay, so I don't know what this is, but anyway, let's change to tango. I only implemented this tango, so if I change this, we get this flavor, right? Gray and italic for arguments. So these are more or less again, this is well documented. You can go to the page and check it. Some future work, not going into detail. Trades, breakpoints, two things that, well, Faro is the example to follow in order to provide these features. To this IDE that, yeah, I would say it's more than a proof of concept, because it, again, it has proven useful for some scenarios. And more generic extensions in the sense of, for instance, VSE, where you can define the complete tool with UI and behavior and accessing to the context, etc. Right? So before finishing, I wanted to, instead of having a slide for questions, I wanted to include this slide for answers. It's not that I will ask you something and I will expect an answer from you, but to throw a question that I have, and it has to do with, this is an old discussion, it's not close to me, but it has to do with this nature of Smalltalk that, in particular with the principle that says that anyone can touch anything, and with touch, it means that like everything, using the same metaphors, the same tools, the same language. So it's more than just inspect an inspector. We can understand how it works and change its behavior. So this is something strong, and I know nobody wants to lose that. But on the other hand, we had, and I saw other initiatives like the James Foster, or these, I don't remember the name of the project, but it's related to Faro, to bring Smalltalk to VSC code. And the argument there was, okay, do something to at least catch the attention to young people used to use those tools. And VSC is a great editor. Nobody can deny that. Probably some of you might say that's not an IDE, that's just an editor. And I'm not saying that it's good to work on Smalltalk from VSC, right? But anyway, all this for sure has some, I would say, philosophical implications. But the question is, does this Smalltalk attitude prevent a foreign IDE like this one website, which is implemented in a different language, and you don't have the chance to go and touch? Yeah, you can do it, but you can do it going out JavaScript world, etc., from being I put adopted there, but you can read used, because adopted sounds like the whole community adopting a new solution. Just for, again, thinking about the new people, the newcomers, right? And yeah, I think that's it. Now questions, and before yeah.
I have one question and a little one. So, do you have a model of the selection?
Would you mean a model of the selection?
You see, because I work a lot with trying to understand code browsers, and here, so if I select if I have this method selected, prime close, mm-hmm. If you edit it, can you edit it?
Yeah, for sure. It's
okay. And now, can I browse another one? Can I browse the same, a different version? Or do you have a model of the interaction of, oh, on the screen, I have this method that is edited from this class? Do you have a model like that behind website?
There is a model. I mean, these are actually JavaScript objects.
Yeah,
But if I keep another version of the previous version of the method, there is no on the front end. There are ways to, for instance, retrieve versions, history, things that rely on the back end.
No, that's not my question. My question is that when you look at a code browser, any code browser, we could have an architecture that said, oh, I press this stuff, so I press this one, I press this one, I press this one, and at the end, boom, you display something. Okay. This is the old Smalltalk way.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have a model that says, oh, the code browser is just something that displays the state of a model, of an interaction model.
I understand.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a state, because in the end, these are like these browsers, or in general, every tool here is made of parts. And again, in any case, they are React components, and React is based on state. So in the particular case of this browser, the browser knows what package is selected, what category is selected, what variable is selected. Everything is stored in the state of this component. So the UI is reflecting that state. I don't know if that answers your question.
So I would be interested if you can draw it somewhere to digest, so that I can see it. Okay.
Okay.
Because you see, for example, if you look at Calypso, something that strikes me a lot when I started to use Smalltalk, it was like, oh wow, my browser could only show me one method.
Mm-hmm.
Can your browser show me two methods?
Not this browser, because this browser resembles the package browser. But yeah, I was thinking about.
You see, it's like, wow. So I don't know you. I think that any Smalltalk programmer that in the past is that sometimes you were writing a method and suddenly you said, shit, I should look at another one. Okay, sometimes I put my code that was not correct inside comments, compile the method, not to lose it.
Yeah.
Why there is not a model that says, oh, this method is not compiled?
Yeah.
And that's what I am saying. I'm saying, can we have a real model behind the scene?
Okay.
This is what I'm looking for. And you see, just the fact that a code browser can have two methods and one that is not compiled.
Yeah, well,
I'm looking for that.
The file browsers actually currently allow that.
Yes, but the problem is that the model is not nice.
Okay.
So that's why I would like to rewrite it. And you see, when we build model, I'm really looking not for the UI, because the UI is really nice. Your UI is nice. But this is, in my flow of coding, I would like to have something that is not like, because what you can do, of course, you can open another one, but I don't want to open another one. I won't say, I just want to see quickly this one. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah.
And this is the job.
The answer is no.
Okay, this is the job of the code browser to let me do these kinds of things, and normally it should be with a model. So that's not my question. Okay, so
Perfect.
Thanks for the answer.
And before I'm going to participate in the awards.
So I'm the only one that does not have a presentation today. So vote for me.
Okay, this is a cliffhanger. Here in the settings, there is a way by the moment. This is a toy. This is an error, by the way. Let me refresh. Let me go back here, and there is a experiment to bring this access to OpenAI. So provided you have a key, there is a way to let's say we go to system browser and to go to, I don't know, I was in the integer because I know it's easier, integer, and then here, for instance, let's stay here. So here appear some links for explaining code, testing, writing a test. So you can click one of them, and it will use this context, in this case, this method, and as a context in the prompt, and will retrieve this kind of thing. So what else can we do? We can still asking questions, free questions, like for instance, what is a conference? And yeah, and there is also the chance to refer a given class. So what class? Let me put here. I don't know. Large negative. What does? And in this case, it will use well, the shape of the class, the comment of the class or on the class, and potentially methods on that class. So in order to give some context, of course, this AI, these virtual parrots will always say something, but probably. but anyway, our purpose of this was to generate tests, Guiche, to use it for generating tests, and for certain simple cases, this is useful. I can copy this code here, and but yeah.
Do you know why it is not using assert equals?
How does hallucination
I
work
don't-
with that?
It really hallucinates. I don't know, but
This is just what you get if you call ChatGPT directly, the text.
yeah, but using for some reason
Okay.
it was trained.
Statistically,
Yeah.
I prefer equal than equals.
Yeah. For instance, what? Just explain this code. This method checks if all the bits. Well, this is easy, but anyway, you can play with it. Okay, thank you very much.